What can I say? Sometimes it's easier that way. And what can I do?
We're back.
So what did we start? What did we end with?
We had just discussed the Lion King.
Lion King.
And it's Dale's turn.
Well,
This part of the video is brought to you by Pizza Hut. Not really.
And fedoras. Nothing makes you look like more of a loser than a fedora.
Indiana George Jones wore a fedora.
Advertise that you're a detective by wearing a fedora.
Of course I'm a detective, just got my hat.
Indeed.
Dale, what you got for us?
A science fiction classic. 2001, A Space Odyssey.
Ah, yes.
Stanley Kubrick.
I would say that aside from the Star Child scene, it's one of his least Kubrick movies.
Yeah. Truthfully, I wish 2001 didn't have that ending. I wish it was just a story of man versus machine, of this guy and a killer AI. I think the beginning and the end really are what kept it off my list.
It is very weird.
Because without the beginning and the end, it is just a story of a killer AI.
Yeah.
And HAL totally isn't just one letter off from a piece from IBM. If you go up the alphabet, one letter in HAL, it goes to IBM. So
Arthur C. Clarke was good at little tricks like that.
I'm just saying. Yeah, so Arthur C. Clarke wrote the screenplay in tandem with the novel.
Well, it was based on a short story he had already written and published.
I will go ahead and go with Deadpool 2. That said, I saw this one with my dad.
Okay.
And I actually liked one of the things a lot of people complain about, because I know a lot about Deadpool. The killing of his girlfriend, Vanessa. I actually like it because, to me, although I'm sure they didn't even think of this, that can be a way to get him to have the same form of relationship with death that he has in the comics.
But didn't he use Cable's time box to fix it?
That's spoiler, and spoilers in Deadpool haven't been shown to be canon.
Cool, alright. That works for me. Sweet! So Ryan Reynolds did make Green Lantern, which wasn't a bad movie. Fuck you, Ryan Reynolds. I'll tell you what I'm not a fan of Deadpool. I don't find Deadpool's character funny. I like the slapstick. I want more scenes of... Okay, there are two things I like. I like the scene where Domino was using her powers, like the whole world's falling apart and she's just casually strolling through the disaster. And there's a scene I genuinely laughed at where Cable pulls out his guns and is shooting Deadpool, and Deadpool's doing the katana twirling thing. You see him blocking some bullets, but you see most of the bullets are just spraying through him. I wish they had more slaps, just ultra-violent slapstick with Deadpool, because that's the funny stuff. Like in the first movie where he punches Colossus and breaks his hand, and continues hitting Colossus, breaking his limbs.
But, one of my favorite parts, too, one of the things that were like that was the finally reveal the monster, spoilers, but I don't care. And it's Juggernaut, a real Juggernaut, instead of the one that we had in the,
Yeah.
It's like, holy crap, they turned Juggernaut into Juggernaut.
Yeah.
It's like 10 foot tall.
Jeez.
And literally rips Deadpool in half.
Yep. And I love how Domino herself comes around the corner, sees Juggernaut, and is like, my powers won't work on this.
Yeah.
My powers are good, but not that good.
Luck only takes you so far. And you know what? Because I hadn't seen any spoilers for Deadpool, but at this point everybody knows what goes on Deadpool. When I saw it, I did not see Juggernaut coming. I'm like, man, what is that thing? What could it be? And it's Juggernaut, and I'm like, Juggernaut, yep. If you're looking for muscle in the X-Men universe, it's Juggernaut.
Okay, you moving on?
Sure, I'll move on. What do I got? Number 15.
Ah.
1997, Vincenzo Natali's Cube.
Cube.
Okay, Q-Tube Hypercube, garbage. Discannon it. Cube Zero, nah, discannon it. It is great when it is just a group of people locked in this giant death trap filled with these little cubes that some have traps in them, and we don't know what, we don't know why. Sometimes not knowing is the best. And the weird thing is Cube Zero and Q-Tube Hypercube offer completely different explanations. Because Cube Zero almost makes it look like a psychological experiment, and Q-Tube Hypercube, it's about them trying to build a tesseract. And it's Q-Tube Hypercube is just, I can't believe that somebody greenlit that project. It's just embarrassing. Cube is great. I love Cube. I love how most of the people in Cube don't deserve it. The mentally handicapped guy is the only one to survive, spoilers, but I think everybody knows how. Everyone who's seen Cube knows how it ends. Everyone who hasn't seen Cube has no interest in seeing Cube. It is a cult favorite.
I'm secretly hoping for a Cube Hellraiser crossover.
I wasn't, but I am now.
Amen.
It was like they're inside this death machine, and but it's secretly a giant land or very small.
No,
they're small.
No, they're inside the laminate configuration. So the people
Yeah.
are twisting it. That's what's causing the cubes to move.
And then they solve it. So even and why not?
Well, the Cenobites are demons who think that pain is the same as pleasure.
All right.
I'm done.
Well, speaking of pain being the same as pleasure, I love these segues. Jumanji.
Specify.
Specify why pain is also pleasure.
No, specify which one.
The original,
That's what I thought.
Robin Williams.
the Robin
In
Williams
the board
one.
game. Okay.
Playing the board game, not the new. It's a video game with video game logic that did have some. To be fair, it have some good elements, but we're not talking about the sequel here. We're talking about the
I never
original.
saw the sequel.
Me neither. But I did.
Or remake?
No, it's a sequel.
Oh, okay.
It's an actual sequel.
I did have the used to have the actual game.
The actual game market was not as good.
It
Not
wasn't
at all.
good, but one of the things that I found absolutely interesting, I loved about the game, the player to go first was the one who thought about playing the game.
Nice.
The first one to think about playing
The
the
one
game.
who's like, hey, let's play this. You're the one, the first.
I like
That's
that.
interesting.
I haven't seen the sequel, but I can't say it has one thing going for it. Karen Gillian's legs.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And, well, The Rock.
Yeah, you ladies out there. I want to, speaking of The Rock, just a real quick aside, I want to see Shane Black get The Rock for his Doc Savage remake. Because if there's a man out there born to play Doc Savage, it's The Rock. Let's get him in there
There you
before
go.
Rock gets too old to play Doc Savage.
Yeah. But, yeah, Jumanji, a lot of people like to dig at it for its bad special effects. At the time, it wasn't that bad. I didn't think
I
so.
thought the special effects were pretty good.
You know,
And-
people who cry about special
Yeah.
effects are just people who want to dig on a movie that's good and can't think of a real excuse why.
And I love, it's like, anything was representative of his relationship with his father, where the same actor played Van Pelt the Hunter because he's a symbol of his father, and him standing up to that was him standing up to his dad, which gave him the courage to stand up to his dad when he went back.
So you're saying is the movie's a big metaphor for the kid's family relationship
Yeah,
issues.
oh yeah, and other stuff. Everyone had their own journey, but
As far as just liking scenes, I love the scene when Van Pelt gets a real gun.
yes, yeah, and he gets a real gun. That's really. I mean, he had the elephant rifle, but an actual walks out with this assault gun, and I was like,
I haven't seen it in probably over a decade. I need to go back and revisit Jumanji.
it's not bad at all.
I remember liking it as a kid.
Yeah, I need
also
to
like
see
to
it
see-
too. I don't remember half of it.
I also like the scene where they open the door and there's the lion just laying down the bed.
Yeah, they forgot about it.
Doesn't even bother them really. It gets up, roars a little, and then they.
I was like, oh, right. Yeah.
Today, that would probably be buried halfway in the credits or at the end.
It would be a stinger. You're right.
That would, a lot of people might think it's campy, but I dug every single, rhyme. It's like for every
Yeah.
round. I loved every single, bit of poetry.
Well,
there.
because that felt like an old game.
Mm-hmm. It felt right. As for the sequel, I have no idea why the mystically intelligent game decided when some punk kid goes like, board games, no one plays those. Its first instinct as a mystical thing was to transform itself into basically a Sega Genesis cartridge.
Well, I mean, if the thing of Jumanji is meant to, like, force people to confront their personal demons, it would pick a form that people would want to...
Yeah, but not anything more modern. Friggin' Sega Genesis.
Maybe the kid was a hipster.
Well, that was also, they found it, locked away in the AV room?
The console, yeah. Because it was its own console, too. I forgot about that.
Oh,
Yeah, so it probably didn't know that things had advanced.
It follows video game logic. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, my next one is a real science fiction classic. 1957. Forbidden Planet.
Ooh.
First appearance of Robbie the Robot.
Yep. Who's been in about 877 movies after that. No, for
And an episode of Lost in Space.
Yep. No, that is a classic. Forbidden Planet has this very uncomfortable relationship with the female character and her father. I feel like it hints a little bit at incest. And then the male crew members who show up are just callously like... they're all but catcalling her. I'm just saying that it's not a very proactive feminist movie. It was also made in 1957.
Yeah, it
so,
was,
I mean,
it was a movie of its time.
I'm just saying that I don't think it would go over today.
Right. Jeremy?
I'm going to go just one step further than I did before. Deadpool 1. This one, I didn't get to see in theaters. I was with my uncle, who... Okay, he told me this story. He's deeply Christian. He was taking this group of kids to the movies. And something happened in the movie they were going to see. They ended up in Deadpool.
Oh,
The Lord
good.
works in mysterious ways.
So he was sitting there watching with this group
That is
of
amazing.
Christian like probably 15, 16-year-olds.
So they know what's going on.
Yeah.
in Deadpool.
Yeah.
They've seen much worse on the internet.
But still
Yeah, but yeah,
it's a
you're
Christian
the-
children group, and of course he tells me this story right before the scene where they enter the stripper club.
Oh, God.
Did they sit through the whole movie, the Christian group?
Yes,
The
And-
Lord works in mysterious ways.
my uncle likes the movie.
Okay.
I actually like the second one a little better. I laughed more at the second one, but like I mentioned about the scene where he keeps punching Colossus, and so both his hands are broken, so he decides to do like a jump kick to Colossus. And of course Colossus is just like, wait,
Whatever.
come on, you're just making.
Yeah, that I did love that part of it too. That was one of the things I liked about it. But his utter refusal to give in to not punching Colossus. Even though he knew how useless it was to begin with.
Well, he was out of bullets because he used them all. Because he didn't have enough to kill the guy, so they had to share.
Yep.
And also, I will admit, I didn't laugh, but I did slightly chuckle at Wade Wilson's constant referencing to Ajax's name, because Ajax is a stupid name. Thanks, Rob Liefeld.
Yeah.
This is the same guy who created a character called Zeitgeist who vomits acid, because that has anything to do with the Zeitgeist. So I guess it's me?
Yeah.
14! Well, Dale, I got a movie that's 3 years older than yours. Irya Honda. Godzilla. Gojira.
Gojira.
Which is, of course... What's weird is that Godzilla, despite what we think of Godzilla, was a horror movie back in its day.
Yeah.
And one of the interesting things I found about Godzilla was... See, before Godzilla, a lot of these horror movies were the universal monsters. You know, Dracula had a motivation. He was hungry. Frankenstein's monster had a motivation. He didn't understand. The Mummy had a motivation. Vengeance. Wolfman had a motivation. Animal Instincts. Godzilla had no motivation. Rich, poor, holy, scoundrel, noble, commoner. It didn't matter. Godzilla killed you. He had no motivation. He had no desires. He was just representative of the atomic bomb. The atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It killed indiscriminately. Godzilla kills indiscriminately. And, I don't remember the doctor's name who built the oxygen destroyer. What's interesting about it is to think of it is, he talks about he doesn't want it to get into the wrong hands. But considering the movie's an allegory for the nuclear weapon attacks on Nagasaki and Hiroshima, and also inspired by American nuclear testing, where we tested too close to Japanese waters and killed a bunch of guys on an innocent fishing boat. Ha! Yeah, uncomfortable, huh? Yeah, so it's kind of interesting that this ultra weapon, the oxygen destroyer, is like, I can't let it fall into the wrong hands. That's our hands. That's American hands in the eyes of the Japanese. Because we're the only ones who've used the Doomsday device in military applications.
And what do you do when the wrong hands are the hands that made it?
Well, the Japanese made it.
I'm not talking about the movie.
Oh.
I'm not talking about in general.
Yeah, right.
Like in the nuclear weapon, I mean, we made it.
Yeah. We're also the only nation who's used it in a military setting.
Although, to be fair, if we hadn't used it,
we probably saved more lives than we killed
on both sides.
That is
Exactly.
That is true, but we did unleash the Doomsday device in the world. Because when the world ends, it will probably be an atomic fire. I like cheery movies. I like happy movies.
And on that note, a lot of people would be dead. And they'd come back. They might cause some problems. And when that happens, who are you going to call? In the 80s, Ghostbusters.
Yep.
That's my next one. It's like, if you were to go and watch the 80s Ghostbusters and the recent remake, and just compare them side by side, and you don't put any notions, try to put as less political thing behind it, you might actually get to see how one group of comedians play off of each other and the other group of comedians compete against each other. And that changes everything. They're like night and day. One's good, one's bad.
That was my issue with Answer the Call, was that Melissa McCartney and I think Ellie Kempler was another one, and they were all, every one of them was so desperate to be the funny one that none of them were the funny one. Whereas in the original, all of them knew their role. You know, Egon's job was to say a bunch of technobabble, and that was funny because technobabble's funny. Bill Murray made wisecracks.
Dan Aykroyd?
Yep. Well, Dan Aykroyd was kind of the straight man, and Eddie Hudson's job was to be the guy who was in way over his head and had no idea what he was doing. And they were all hilarious.
Yeah. It was all funny. And it made it a better movie overall.
It did. But and the other problem with it, it's very hard to ignore the baggage of Ghostbusters Answer the Call, because they were telling us it is a movie about how I don't want to be told a movie is female-centric. Let it be female-centric. Laurie Strode, Ellen Ripley. We didn't have to be told that these people were survivors. It played out naturally
It just
in front of
happened.
us.
Little sidebar to the original two. Dan Aykroyd's brother Peter,
Uh-huh.
he is a paranormal investigator.
Oh, really?
So some of the equipment they used in the movie, that was based on theoretical, could actually work concepts.
Interesting, interesting. Did not know that.
Alright.
So they had a little bit of an inside track on the paranormal.
And with
there.
that, you want to move on?
13?
Yes. And this is another classic science fiction. 1953, George Powell, War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds.
With the war machines, they said had one of the most unique sound effects ever.
Basically caused the mainstream idea of the flying saucer.
Yeah, was that the one where they were flying saucers instead of... In the book, they were mechanical tripods.
Yeah, these
These ones were the ones that floated, right?
yeah, but you could see these three little holes on the bottom, and
Right.
you could see these little rays sometimes. So
Right.
they were still.
They were like electron, but they looked like flying saucers.
Well,
Yeah.
they were kind of a manta ray shape.
Yeah, yeah,
which
yeah.
was cool. But,
And I like the little snake eye that...
Yeah.
And also, it unlike the Tom Cruise remake, it actually made sense why they wouldn't have come to Earth prepared, because they were just, uh-oh, we gotta leave our planet. There's an inhabited one, as opposed to being here since the dawn of man.
I know.
Viruses!
That was
You've
like-
been here for 10 million years. How have you not gotten ready for these viruses? It was a dumb idea. Jeremy, you want to go?
Independence Day.
Ah,
Oh, yeah.
nice segue.
You know what kind of bothers me about Independence Day?
The sequel?
Oh!
Anything
Dale wins.
Fatality. No, you got just that. All these people who talk about how much they hate Independence Day now, I'm like, you all loved this movie as a kid. When Independence Day came out, every person my age loved this movie. They adored it. And now all these people are like, oh, I thought it was stupid from the beginning. No, you didn't. You lie like a dog in the grass. I liked it as a kid. I haven't revisited it in a long time, so I might hate it now, but I liked it as a kid. So
I
would say that.
thought it was stupid from the beginning. Really? Well, I own up to my mistakes.
Yep, exactly.
Besides, Will Smith and Goldblum worked great together.
Yes.
Jeff Goldblum's just amazing.
I know.
He's just, he's
I said- I said earlier today that Jeff Goldblum is this eldritch creature that goes into hibernation every 10 years and just emerges again to just feed off of the joy of his performances.
of his relevancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Comes back into relevance and just...
Well, he did Jurassic Park, then Independence Day, so they were saying, okay, we can't make any big science fiction epics without Jeff.
So my turn.
Mm-hmm.
You know how we were discussing Peter Jackson earlier?
Sure.
Yes.
I have a Peter Jackson movie on my list.
Cha-cha-cha.
Oh,
Care to guess which one?
13 Ghosts?
Nope. 1992's Dead Alive.
Ah.
Lawnmower scene.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that was pretty good.
Okay.
The first half of the movie, I enjoy the first half of the movie. It's a little slow, and it is a dumb movie. For any of you out there watching outside of North America, it was called Brain Dead. We here in the States call it Dead Alive because we're backwards Neanderthals.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of slow. It's got some gross moments. But then when the end where the entire house is invaded with zombies, it just becomes almost like this Jacques Tati, like, cause and effect comedy, where, like, they push a zombie into a wall, and the light bulb sticks out its mouth, and it walks out, and this zombie's head's glowing. Like, they cut a hand off, and the hand comes alive, and Paquita, the female character's like putting body parts in this blender to grind them in the dust. And then the main character just comes in with this lawnmower, and it is just a literal bloodbath. It's just gore everywhere. And it's just so much fun, and I just love it. And yeah, I would like to see Peter Jackson just kind of like how Sam Raimi did with Drag Me to Hell, just revisit something like this. Because even before this, he made a movie called Bad Taste, and the movie is in bad taste. It's aliens coming to Earth to like harvest humans for fast food, alien fast food, and it just has that same kind of gory cause and effect humor. Like a guy gets his head split open and he like puts a hat on to try to keep his brains from falling out.
That amuses me. Anyway,
They're fun. Josh.
The Naked Gun. I was a fan of the old Police Squad show, and this was just a movie extension of Police Squad.
Same people.
Leslie Nielsen.
Zucker, Abram Zucker.
Mm-hmm. And, great comedy. It's comedy the way things should be, unlike modern comedy now. That, I'm sorry, it's not funny in both delivery and substance. I don't know how people messed up now, but comedy's not.
I think it's the first Naked Gun movie where, there's a scene where there's a girl like going in hysterics because making fun of the old cop stuff, and she's screaming and he slaps her, and the script just had her slap her, and Leslie Nielsen's like, wouldn't it be funny if there was just a line of guys waiting to slap her?
A bunch of people just slap her, they shake her and slap her, and then they move on to the next one. And then you just pan back and you see a line.
Like, because they did just get, like, a bunch of stagehands. It's like, alright, just get a couple props and get in the line. So there's, like, this line of people.
And stuff like that. It's just funny.
Violence against women is hilarious.
That's not really the point. You could have done the same scene with a hysterical guy, and it still would have worked.
The main reason it's hilarious is because nothing phases her.
No.
She's getting smacked with implements, and she's
still hysterical.
She's still completely hysterical and going on like nothing happened.
And it's also funny because if you watch movies from like the 50s and the 40s, 50s, and 60s, you will see that constantly where a woman will go into hysterics and a guy will just grab her and slap her to shake her out of it. And so...
And this was really lampshading that.
And that's what it was. It wasn't funny because it was violence against women. It was funny because this is how movies used to treat female characters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm going for a comedy now, from 1977, Smokey and the Bandit.
Ooh, okay.
Never seen it.
One of Burt Reynolds' funniest.
Well, if we were talking about top movies, we had to eventually discuss Burt Reynolds' mustache.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, yeah. Burt Reynolds. Yeah. See what he was doing there.
You ever watch the Celebrity Jeopardy skits?
Yeah. Yeah.
This movie showed us cannonballs can indeed run. Bert, you want to take a shot at this? Jaws? That's funny. I got a big hat. It's funny, I got a hat.
Yeah. And Smokey and the Bandit, he did wear a hat. Only took it off for one thing, and it wasn't taking a shower.
Ew. His scalp must reek. Even I take my hat off for showers sometimes.
Well, it led to a great line where him and Sally Field finally, before they made love, you knew that's what she wanted because she told him, Bandit, take off your hat.
So I've never seen the movie, so I don't know. Great mustache on that man.